Hey, good morning. Hey, good morning, everyone. Uh, Man, I know I'm late with this. I was supposed to make a live sometime, excuse me, sometime last week. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was supposed to be on the 20th. But anyway, I had a personal emergency that I had to take care of. And had a personal emergency that I had to take care of. But hey, I'm back. But right now, it's not the law that I planned. It's just I'm going to be talking about a few things that I had wanted to discuss before about different things. You know, I was the video that the live that I had scheduled that I couldn't do. I was gonna talk about the situation of Polite taking that plea deal. I'm just gonna make it quick in there because I know most people have read about it or heard it. But anyway, and I saw some comments when I was getting ready to do it about he got off light. He's not as a have to register as a sex offender. But if anybody cares to, they can go back and hear it. And when they hear it, they listen. And if you listen to it closely, there are conditions of that term. The way the judge ordered, you know, set forth the criteria for his release and everything after his conviction. Uh, if, if he doesn't comply with everything, you know, if he doesn't comply with everything that they put forth before him, he can he can be civilly committed. And all you have to do is listen when the judge reads the terms of the agreement to Polite. Listen to the end when he um tells him that he will be if he does any if he violates, and he will be subject to I'm not sure of the exact words, but he will be sure of um he will not assured, but if he does not comply, he will be subjected to civil commitment. When he speaks on civil commitment and he asks Polite, does he understand? Polite hesitates and says yes. You can tell he didn't really know about the about that stipulation with the civil commitment. And for those who don't know what civil commitment is, it's when they have deemed that when whoever he has to see to, because he has to go to sex offender classes, he has to do all this stuff. They put forth a lot of stuff, but you can hear it. You can find out what it is. You can listen to it again and find out what I'm talking about. He he can be he can be civilly committed, which is they can put him away for an indefinite period until they feel that he is I I don't know, cured. I I guess I could say cured, but until they figure he no longer has the desire to go with children. Now, all that slick talking, fast talking, Polite does is going to come back to haunt him, because if he tries to do it or does anything or has people trying to scam anything, he's going to be locked up. He's going to be violated. That's once he gets out. So he's dealing with a slippery slope there, because my personal opinion is um, Polite will reoffend. He not reoffend. He may not reoffend with dealing with children anymore, but he's going to end up going to jail because the terms of that plea agreement were was pretty stern. And when he's in there, if he goes into these sexual predator meetings that he has to do while he's incarcerated, and he tries to justify his actions, is man, it's gonna hold him back. He'll probably end up doing the whole sentence in jail. He'll come out and he'll be on probation, and he'll probably try to start scamming again. I was convicted wrongly, blah blah blah, his usual stuff. He will end up doing that. So he didn't get much. Excuse me. He didn't get much of a deal as he was. His name is not in the book, so he was coming. He was saying he wasn't being charged with anything because he figured as long as they didn't mention his name, that he wasn't gonna, serve no time for what he did to that young girl. And he was doing his usual. I don't have to tell people. Anybody who followed the case and anybody who knew who followed Polite for any amount of time, they know. Everybody knows what Polite is about when it comes to all that stuff. But he ain't out of the woods yet. He I see him still trying to be smart, because I don't really think he understood a plea deal. And plea deals are binding. He may, once he's in there, he gets the thing, and they have the prison lawyers who gonna tell him you took a plea deal, and you know it's just crazy. You have to listen to it, but from what I know, that plea deal that Polite guy is it is what it is. It really is what it is. It was done to save the young lady from having to relive that terror again, her and her mother having to go through it. And people blame the mother, but I believe the mother when she says she thought she thought her daughter was gonna go downstairs with Polite and was going to, get something to eat and sit down, and he was gonna sit down and have a talk with her, you know, and she did not know where, he was going to take her daughter out. I believe that she was a trusting person. I myself am a trusting person also, but when it came to my kid, even though he was a boy, nobody, and I mean nobody took my son nowhere. I took him everywhere, you know. But anyway, we're not blaming her. So moving on, like I said, I'm going to talk about a few things. And now the next thing I want to talk about is, because, the thing with Polite is, oh, it is what it is. He didn't get, he hasn't got off as easy as people thinks he has. That probationary part, if he makes it out of prison before time, that 10-year probation period, he's not going to make it through. I don't see Polite being back out here in a long time. I personally think he will be civilly committed because his ego was so strong, and I don't know. He's the last I heard he had is one of his so-called wives was putting out messages. I don't know if she stopped because I really don't follow it. It is what it is. But anyway, now moving on. It's the case out in New York. Excuse me. I'm sure everyone has everyone has heard about the young baby, the 1 year old that was died of a fentanyl overdose while being at a daycare center. For those of you who don't know, daycare centers in New York are done in people's apartments like it's in home daycare centers. Okay, in-home daycare centers because New York has a problem with housing, different spaces. It's very expensive to live in New York. New York, New York City, and things. It's like rent one bedrooms can go for as high as $2,000 or $3,000. Apartments can go for $2,000 or $3,000 in New York City, and it's crazy. It's really crazy how the rent situation, how the housing market is there. So people open up daycare centers in their home, in their neighborhoods, so they can make money. But this daycare center, the young lady who ran it, she she lived with her husband, her cousin, and her cousin in the apartment where they had the daycare center out at. And she took and had let's see, she took and she had her daycare equipment, had it set up nice, and she was inspected once, and last week or sometime this month, uh her license, she was inspected, and they gave her approval to keep the kids. She could continue keeping kids. But she however, they came and inspected the apartment, and she was able to keep the kids. But from all of the news reports, she um, she had a problem with one of the children got sick. The mom came. No, no, I'm sorry. It isn't. The mom picked up her child early. Came early. She was got off from work. She came early. Whatever the reason was, she picked up her child early. When she got her child home, she took and they took and she noticed the child was acting differently. When you have a 2 year old and your 2 year old was acting sleepy, lethargic and everything. So she took the baby to the emergency room, and that's when they discovered the baby had had the please excuse me. The baby had fentanyl they figured it out. The baby had got with the fentanyl. But anyway, she the the whole gist of the story is the fentanyl the it was a drug operation. It was also a drug operation, and the daycare center was used to cover up the drug sales. And from what I've read and what I've seen, they stored the bricks of fentanyl in uh, in a closet on top of the matting that the children put on when they sit on the floor. And if anybody knows anything about fentanyl, that you will know that fentanyl is very highly, I won't say contagious, but it's it's very lethal. It's a sedative. It's used when they put you to sleep. It's something like the ingredient that killed Michael Jackson, but it's very, very highly. Actually, it's so highly. I read an article once where a guy in Philadelphia, a police officer, was walking a canine in the area, and the canine, they walked the beat. The canine got back in the car. He licked his paws, as dogs do. I guess that's their way of cleaning them. He licked his paws, and the dog got lethargic and sick. He died suddenly. And they they did an autopsy on the dog and found out he had fentanyl poison because where he was in Philadelphia, Kensington Avenue in Philadelphia, which is an open air drug market, which is a whole nother story, which I'm going to talk about at another time when I because I'll be having more time to really go in depth to a lot of things I want to talk about, you know. So the guy took in, the dog died. The dog died. They 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 assume he stepped on a envelope with it. I was reading today where the doctor explained that uh, how fentanyl works. If you touch it, if you get just a like a pin size amount, it can kill you. It's that lethal. So, and there is a number of ways. If you have the fentanyl, say if you have the fentanyl in your house, and say you drop it on the floor, and no matter how you package this stuff up, they're saying that the dust from it can kill you. It can kill you. It can literally overdose you, and it can kill you. Kill you. It's just amazing. You can look all this stuff up. I'm saying right now I don't have any links to connect you with it, but these are things that I've read. How very uh, how very, very, very dangerous this drug is. There was also a thing, this was years and years ago. Some guy in Russia decided he was going to go to an opera house and hold the people hostage. And it went on for a while. I remember it went on for a while, and it was eventually resolved. How they resolved it, they took fentanyl, put it in the air conditioning ducts, blew it through, let the air conditioner blow the fentanyl throughout the opera hall because it was an opera house and people were there for a show. And they let it, and how it actually put everybody in there to sleep, including the guy that was uh, was holding the people hostage, and that's how they catch him. That's how they caught him, and that happened in Russia. So it that shows you how lethal that stuff could be. So everybody's trying to figure how the baby got it. But the way the doctor explained it, he said it could have been from the dust. So I'm assuming maybe when she swept up, because kids spill things on the floor, she probably fed him breakfast with whatever, gave him a snack, whatever. Because they say it happened about 1:30, so it's probably lunchtime. What she probably did was she was probably sweeping up, and the dust particles from the fentanyl probably affected the children because one little boy died, a pretty, pretty little boy, a handsome little boy. He looked he was just so cuddly. He made you want to cuddle with him, and three others were got sick from it, and they all survived. So I'm assuming that when this lady cleaned up, because around 1:30, that's when they got the call. But what makes this really, really sad is before the owner of the daycare center called for EMS 911. She called her husband. She made different calls. She called everybody. She called her husband to tell him to come and get the bricks out of the bricks of the fentanyl out of the house. And what really is like shocking. Her 2 year old son almost died from the fentanyl overdose. She took her 2 year old son out of the house and put him elsewhere, but she had no regard for the children in her care. It's just, it's just terrible. It's an ongoing thing. I'll go into it more in more depth later because, like I said, I had a personal emergency that had to be taken care of before I could come back and do the live. So I didn't really get a chance to really to really go into that topic like I wanted to, but it was crazy. It was really, really crazy what she did. It was crazy. It was just heartbreaking. y- You know, and she warned the husband. He came to the house. She waited until he came to the house. The cameras, because everything in New York has cameras on it. Everything. So the back entrance, they saw him going out with two shopping bags full of fentanyl bricks. I don't know where he took them. They don't know. All I know is they say he was in Mex. He was in Texas. He was in Texas, and he crossed over into Mexico. So they knew where he was, and they knew he crossed into Mexico. And they were describing how he did. You could listen to oh God, I don't know the correct channel for it, but I'll come back and I'll make a short, and I'll put up the I'll do a short video, and I'll put up the channel that you can go watch and get the whole story from. And it just it's just heartbreaking, and greed killed it. So these people, they got everybody now, and they're going to. We'll see from there. I'm going to follow that case. I'm going to follow it really good because that's crazy. And then some other things I'd like to talk about. I'd like to read every so often. I'd like to have a book club and have certain things that I like, we can share books and stuff. There's so much stuff I really want to do, but I really haven't had time to do it. And I really haven't had time to do the things that I would really like to do. So I I just that I'm going to, work on getting that together and the reading club together. Like maybe somebody can have a book they can suggest. We could read it like maybe once a week, meet and read, certain excerpts from it. If it you know, that's what I want to do. And until I can get some people in here, once I get more people and concentrate on it, we can have discussion on different books. Because I have a number of books that I would like to know if other people would read. I have Roland Martin's book, White Fear: How the Browning of America is making white people go nuts because they are. It, we'll deal with it, but that's the name of the book I have. I have another book. It's about the history of lynching. It's called, oh God, I can't remember the name of the book offhand, but I have a few books, and they're Black history, the Black history that they don't teach us in the school. I have things about that, And like I said, this stream is just like rant, and I'm just basically talking all over the place right now about different things because those are the things that interest me, like the reading, the Black History events, and different things, little things that I know from Black History, and I'm researching to see if I can find things, and I'll be putting links in so people can so you can follow it. When I want to talk about it, I'll do a short and put a link. And if anybody cares to come in and, listen to it, we can talk about it and stuff. But there's so much in there. And also about the political situation, uh, the age thing that seems to be a thing about the age of Biden and Trump. Neither one of neither one of them is a young person, and neither one of them, Biden or Trump, I hate to call that man's name, are my choice. I think Biden is too old. We need younger people, stronger people to fight these people, you know. But if it comes down to Trump versus Biden battle, I will vote for Joe Biden again, as long as they don't get. But that's for now, and then we can talk about any things that people who join, who come in and talk and want to talk about things. There's certain things we can talk about, but yeah, I'm I'm gonna get ready to different things. I'm just gonna get ready to talk about different things, current events, and it will always return to Black people. Oh, and these missing children and going missing in Ohio. I think it's the Cleveland area. I'm not sure, but I just started reading about that, so I don't know too much of the particulars about the missing children in Cleveland, because there's a whole lot of stuff going on in Black communities, and I'll be posting up an opinion poll about Black communities, talking about the destruction of the Black community, how we need to rebuild it there, and other things. And like I said, anybody who has suggestions, um, you know, suggestions about what's going on, going on in the world, and they want to talk about it, we can come together and talk about it if you like. But yeah, this is that's what I want to do, and I'm back. This time I'm back for good. There's there won't be nothing holding me back. I promise. I promise you. But from time to time, emergencies do happen, and person problems come first. And I dealt with everything, you know. So that's that's it. That's what I want to talk about, and I will be talking about it. And I'm going to end the stream, and I hope everybody enjoys this. But like I said, this one is not too in depth, but it will be getting better as time goes on because I'm going to be I'm going to have be doing more research on things. You know, it will be it will be better as I get into it, and I'm going to be buying certain things because I have a raspy voice for some reason. I was never a smoker, but I have a smoker's voice, and I've told it's been very raspy and very whiny sounding. So I'll be working on that. A lot of stuff I'll be working on to get there. And then we're gonna have some fun topics, some fun topics. So everyone have a great day.